Taking a look at the gold miners here to see if this is just a temporary little pause in the greatest commodity bull market of all time, or if something has changed. Now look at this last little downtrend right here, okay? And notice the decreasing volume, okay? So while you get a pullback, you get a corresponding kind of pull back in the volume. So that's good. Look, same thing happened here, right? You had this pullback, and then you also had this kind of, pullback, low volume down in the middle at the, kind of the lowest part of the correction, sees the lowest volume. Generally, that's what you want to see to maintain a bullish bias. And look, you've got this thing could just be bullish kind of pullback here before a move back. All right. That's what I'm hoping. This is a good indication. You see volume pick up on these rallies. Now, there's nothing wrong with this just pulling back to here after this breakout. Little pullback to here is not a big deal. Okay, again, this is a monthly, so you could see something like this, maybe more long and drawn out, and then eventually what you'd expect to happen is this kind of comes into play. So you'd want to see something right around here. Okay, you don't want too much weakness there, but this is all going according to plan, so far. If your plan is bullish, all right, you do get these periodically. All right, so then maybe after some kind of a move way up, well, maybe we get something like that. Doubt it, unlikely. But then, expect another one of these. Okay, and all the while, again, it's just going to hopefully kind of right up here as buyers are coming in every time gold pulls back. You want this steepening, which means if you get a steepener, that this thing starts getting, steeper and then steeper and eventually goes parabolic towards the end of the move. It just means that buyers are getting more and more anxious, right? They're not waiting for a deeper correction. Here was the bottom, okay? That's a big bottom. In fact, we got to move this volume here. Let's take it off here. So now we can see this here. You've got, let's do this, right? There you go. Now, you're looking at buyers stepping in after this bottom. That's the obvious bottom. And then, it just nicely does this little long tail. That was the COVID crash. So that's really good news, So guess what happens? They're buying here. So what are you going to do? What do you expect to happen if the stock, in this case, the price of this ETF, the GDX, if it comes into here? I mean, what do you expect, That could happen. That's a possibility. But really, I'd expect, some more of this. Someone to come in here and buy this thing in size. And then, you know, you got something like this going on. Something like, look, even, let's try and give something like this, okay? You got to kind of get an idea. So look, I mean, that's not a great shape, right? You never want to see those shapes. So I would expect maybe another move up to here. And then listen, it's really going to have to give one of these and then a thing here and then another one because this kind of a wedge where prices are going like this and then up into here, you don't want that. Because what generally happens is you tend to get stuff that falls out here. So, you're going to want to see some acceleration on this next breakout here. You're going to want to see a thing and then maybe a little pause and then really it's going to have to take off. So call that, boy, that's going to be well into 2023. So let's zoom out here, okay, and see, zoom in. Let's zoom in here and see what we're looking at on these shorter time frames. Now that we got a big picture, is still bullish, okay? You can see this is still going here. All right, again, so we're right at an area where maybe the buyers step up every time this thing comes a little bit in. The buyers are going to step up, right? And anytime it comes in, the buyers will step up here. I'm hoping so, right? This is a nice little confluence of prices here, right in there, and then all the way, and that goes back even further. But this little tightness in that area right there, that's nice. I mean, you really want to see that. So that is real bullish when prices are just getting tighter and tighter in here. When these things start chopping up and chopping guys out, and then you get the pop out. That means all the supply, big time buyers were buying up all this supply. Where the weak hands were freaking out, selling, or maybe shorter term guys that had maybe bought back here or somewhere, in here, and they were just done with the trade, so they're getting out. The big guys are getting in, the weak hands are selling in here, and the strong hands are buying, okay? And then finally, as time goes on, right, you get the supply is all dried up, and demand pushes this thing out. And then, these happen. These are the corrections, the shelves getting full again in nice short order, okay? That's normal, but what you're going to want to see very soon, like in the next days, okay, is some kind of a little, and then that's fine too, don't pay too much attention. And I know that's going to be like a lower low. I get that. That's fine. I'm not. You don't worry too much about that. Now, just so long as you're gonna get something like that, and then maybe a little bit more weakness, but then immediately you're gonna want to see this, okay? And I mean, really, you're gonna want to see this, okay? And that's gonna be, call that by September. So I'm fine with a little bit of sideways chopping for the rest of the summer. Don't worry too much about that. You don't want this thing to get too far below, I mean, you don't want to see something like this, okay? You don't want to see this. That's bad news. But this, you could handle this. That's fine. Don't be freaking out about this, that, and then be realistic, okay? But by September, maybe a little bit more scary stuff before the real one, right? So check it out by September. Certainly by October, this is going to resolve itself one way or the other here. Bull market's still on for now. No reason to fret about this. But again, I am not expecting any super bullish stuff until, the end of the summer. Just expect this to chop and chop and chop and tread some water, and don't freak out about treading water. Just let it be. You're not going to get this thing to break out by worrying about this. And you're sure as, well, you know what? Ironically, you are going to get this thing to do breakout. It's by worrying and selling. Now, if you're selling in here, you're going to be the supply that's getting weaker and weaker. And eventually, boom, we're going to hang on and we're going to get it. Because this is obvious what's going on now. I mean, it's obvious to everyone who's paying attention that the system is, coming to its end. You see it in all the commentary. I mean, look how many things out there are titled "End Game." Okay, everyone knows it's coming. We're in, which I guess is a chess term. All right, a term from chess when the players really know something's about to go down and the playing heats up and things start moving faster and faster and faster. Like in the beginning, it's slow. One guy moves something, another guy looks and thinks and moves something, and then once they get into the end game. Apparently, things just start moving and moving and moving. Make a move, hit the clock. Make a move, hit the clock. Make a move. So we're getting there. Uh, you know, you can see which way it's going to go. For this gold. Now, listen. If they look here, this is the fun part. If they just, let's get out of here, back out, zoom out. And here's the fun part, right? If they just, the BIS has complete control of this, they're not going to give this up that easily, okay? In order for this to go like that, okay, it means by definition that the entire central banking cohort has given up. They just let the system collapse. They're obviously not going to. Now, I suspect that they don't have the power to keep this thing going for much longer. I mean, it's just unnatural. Something which can't be sustained ought not to be for indefinitely. That's my general operating principle. So eventually, they're going to have to just let it collapse, and the system's going to have to be reset because the system isn't working out for anybody. Americans don't even like the current monetary system. That's why we elected Trump, for crying out loud. I mean, people don't get what kind of a signpost that was for the mood of the country where we elected Donald Trump as our president. We didn't do it because we think things are awesome. Okay, the country did not elect that man because they thought everything's on the up and up. I'm content. They elected him because they're pissed. Okay, so the system isn't working for anyone. Eventually, the banks are going to have to give it up. Now, there's the possibility that they could drag this out for another 10 years, in which case, this is over. I mean, forget it. By definition, if they regain control of the system, if the BIS has got something up their sleeve, and this trade is over. Look, this is going to be this. All right, this is going to be a high, and this is going to be a lower high, and this thing is just over. All right, and then forget it. That's why you got to watch this. This is going to be scary. Now, if this breaks, okay, this one right here, this white one, if that breaks, okay, yeah, I'm probably going to be in here. Okay, so because this was the test. All right, that was it. This long tail, that was the test. You're not going to want to get another test where it gives you another long. That's not going to happen, right? It's unrealistic to expect you get another long tail like that. So if we get any kind of breaking of that, and it stays down there, man, I'm, they're just assume that they're regaining control. All right, that's going to be painful. Then you're going to want to freak out. I'll be freaking out. Okay. So this thing is kind of important because of how many times this one's important because that marked the low. That marked the retracement after this. Look at what it did here. This one was nasty. I was long and bullish all up in there, and I thought, oh, hooray, we're going to get the kaboom. No, no, sir. No, sir, you didn't get that. You got that. Now, that was a freak out, okay? Then you got this. I was looking at what kind of car I'm going to buy, obviously. And then the COVID happened, right? And now that was painful. Okay, I was buying a little bit in there, but not nearly. I mean, I was just doing it for posterity, right? To say I bought down there, but it didn't. It was so little, it didn't even really matter. But then when you got this, all right, that was like, okay, I'm right. This is happening. But so you're just not gonna get another one of these breaks and rip them backs. I don't know if this thing breaks this time because now everybody knows once you had this one right here, now you know that you're right. Okay, that's confirmation. Let's bring back the volume. Look at this volume. Look at the volume increase there. Okay, man, I don't know. Where's the volume? Nowhere to be found. Okay, you had some nice volume up there. That's pretty lousy volume, isn't it? So, hey, let's not get carried away, I suppose. This thing could still give you one of these. All right, let's not get carried away with all this excessive bullishness, all right? Let's, in fact, assume that the BIS is going to figure out a way to prolong this thing and destroy the American middle class for another decade or so. Let's just assume. What are we going to see if the BIS wins and we lose? And we, gold bugs, and the American middle class, because if they win, we lose. That's just the way it goes. Now, look, what are you going to see? Let's imagine what a bearish thing looks like here. Okay, what are we looking at? If we get a bearish, there's this. All right, extend that guy out. Okay. Now, look, you do have these. See, that's a little gappy area. See that gappy? Kind of a little bit of a gap in there. You have this kind of a little gap, okay? So you want to see that guy hold, all right? Yeah, that. Does it go back even further? I wonder. What if you had, is that an important area? Yeah, a little bit. Look, it even goes back into this little gap all the way into here, okay? That little gap right there. Does it go back even further if we extend it out? Is this an important, geez Louise, look at that gappy area right in there, huh? There's another gappy area right in there. So yeah, this is a significant level, let's call it. What is this? This is about right under 34, so call it 33 and 3/4, something like that. So let's start to get worried if price starts to fall below 34 a lot. Let's call it a close under 34. Let's get concerned. All right, I'll start to be concerned there. Now, if you get, a weekly close under 34, sustained trading under 34, yeah, let's start to hit the panic button there, right? So this will be concern. Underneath here is going to be full on total hit the panic button, and let's freak out. All right, now hopefully I don't have to post a video about the freak out, but yeah, this is going to be freak out level. Underneath 34, let's start to panic, okay? No. Let's caution under 34. Under 33 and 32, let's panic, all right? Thanks for watching Pulp Bar Merchants.